6 draws this weekend. It's taken us 47 games to get to the first 0-0 draw of the Premier League campaign 2021. Big wins for both the Manchester clubs, big win for Villa and a great win for Wolves. What's up and welcome to All Balls, the show that keeps you up to date with all the Premier League action and fantasy football tips. Guys, I'm Rohan Manglani, Rahul Bell next to me as usual. He's wearing the jersey, you know what that means. But we are talking about all the games of match week 5, starting with Everton and Liverpool. Rahul, a thrilling 2-2 draw. But
ending on a sad note.
Ending on a very sad note, and unfortunately the other things became bigger.
You're bound to become bigger, right? You're taking Van Dijk out for the season for Liverpool.
Yeah, but that's not exactly confirmed. But they are saying that
he's out for a while.
Yeah.
So if he's operating, he'll be out for a while. But again, we spoke about VAR, earlier in the season. We're talking about it again. Just because it was ruled as offside.
No, but it is an offside. The ref
it's an offside. That's fine. But that's still a dangerous tackle, right?
Absolutely is.
Now that it's proven.
It is, but when it's an offside, you generally can't give a decision after that because offside is your decision, your ruling on the field.
It's cost a team, it's cost a player. It could have probably been, a season-ending injury. It might still be, you never know.
Yep.
So, even while it's offside, I think that rule really needs to be, thought upon. It just takes away from, a relatively thrilling game, if not one of the best Merseyside derbies you've seen. But Everton
and we don't want to see such things.
You don't want to see such things.
You want Van Dijk to be a part of the game. You want him to play that game.
And it's followed up by Richarlison doing what he did. That lunging in like that. Yeah. It's just shameful. It's not required. It's not like, it's like one of your...
Yeah, but you have to understand that they were also, when Richarlison made that tackle, they were holding on to that 2-2 at that point of time. And
but you wouldn't lunge into a player
I agree
just because you're holding on to
I agree with the Richarlison tackle that it was wrong and he got the red for it. For Van Dijk, it happened in such a quick way, but...
but you still can't go in that way.
You can't go in that way. You can't go in and there has to be some retrospective action, which they said that it's not going to happen. There is no action which is going to be taken.
You can't. I heard somewhere that, they were planning to give Pickford a suspension for the amount of time.
That's not
going to happen.
That's not happening.
Being an Arsenal fan with the Aaron Ramsey injury.
Yeah.
You couldn't
do anything.
Put Shawcross out for so long, right? Yeah. These things happen in football.
So they have to revisit the rules probably
have
because there's so much speculation happening. Some people are saying that it should be more than a 3 game. Some people are saying that he should be out for as long as Van Dijk is out.
Looking at the way he's playing, he should just be out.
But, as an Everton fan, Everton did give their 100%. Even though these couple of instances happened, they played very well. Michael Keane scored a brilliant header of a set
First
piece.
goal for Everton, I think, in a derby since 2015. Yeah. Which, I was arguing before the show, but it's quite an amazing stat.
Yeah. And
Dominic Calvert-Lewin,
proper number 9 header.
Unstoppable.
See the height he got up to, man, to score that.
First one to reach 10 goals, in the top 5 flights of football.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy, like how Everton came back twice. Liverpool, of course, dominated. Thiago, in the centre, most amount of touches, most amount of passes. But you're bound to get that with Thiago. With Mohamed Salah, he scored some belters this season. I think already has a couple of goals.
On the volley, the way,
Yeah, and what a way to touch 100 goals. I think he's the 3rd fastest player in the club's history to do that.
Yeah.
But then again, that's what I'm saying. All these positives get hidden because of, that one incident. Liverpool already without Alisson. Now they're without Van Dijk. Probably without Thiago. Adrian is...
Thiago maybe for, a few games.
Yeah,
but it's also a good time.
Cost them.
Since the last 2 seasons, I think people are, saying that what if this one person gets injured with Liverpool if they have 1 or 2 injuries. This is their test to kind of understand where they stand.
Yes, but...
Look, all teams lose important players. United has, Arsenal has, City has. All teams lose important players. Now, this is something which we have to go ahead and see that how much of resolve Liverpool actually have to still be in it. And I still feel that they are favourites. You can't take that away.
Not without Van Dijk. Like you said, important players. So there was an incident after the game, where there was a discussion where Owen Hargreaves said that there are important players and then there are influential players.
True.
So he is one of the influential players who will not only, influence the game by his performance, but influence players around him. So that is going to be a big loss to Liverpool. They would see this as 2 points dropped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, for Everton, they're still on top. They're still unbeaten. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is getting the goals. I don't think they'll miss Richarlison too much because they have backup in that area. So for them, it's probably a point more than what they deserve to get. Yeah, it's a good result for them. So yeah.
Chelsea and Southampton share the spoils at Stamford Bridge. 3-3, entertaining game, thrilling
One
game.
of the 2-3-3 thrillers we had. But Timo Werner is finally on the score sheet. My golden boot prediction is finally, off the mark.
He's on 2.
That's okay. It took him 13 attempts. Give him those 2. He scored 2. But those 2 were
goals.
Convincing goals. They were goals of, someone who's in form, someone who's confident about his ability. I mean, that second goal was just beautiful. I mean, the calmness he had to just, chip the keeper and then head it in. But then, again, I come back to my most important player in Chelsea missing and
because
Chelsea
of that,
giving it.
3 goals.
There's no calmness at the back. If there was a Thiago Silva, the defense would have been calm. I mean, Zuma.
You're not giving Southampton enough credit, I feel.
Yes, they pressed.
They pressed. Walcott had created the most chances for Southampton.
That's fine. Would Kepa have done what Kepa did if there was a Thiago Silva? Would Zuma have done what Zuma did if there was a Thiago Silva? Because, I mean, he's someone like Van Dijk who will influence the player. As a Zuma, I know that I have, a senior partner with me to calm me down. Or even as, a left wing back or a right wing back, there's a Thiago Silva. Here, there was no one.
Aspili played.
I mean, Aspili played, but he's not as vocal as a Thiago Silva. He's not as influential as a Thiago Silva.
No, you can't say that. Aspili has been
I'm
at
not
Chelsea
saying he's
since
a bad,
years now. He is a legend.
But they still conceded 3 with Aspili at the back, right?
And that's what I'm saying. That's totally down to probably, maybe having a Silva. And tell me
which one of those 3 goals, except for the last one, probably you can say, a scramble, a shot, and whatever. But the other 2 goals were just pure mistakes.
Yeah, well, but this is the Premier League. There is a lot of Chelsea were constantly under pressure, and that's what I give Southampton a lot of credit for.
A side that they're a top side. They have to expect that, especially this season with the so-called smaller teams growing in confidence, no crowds. I've said this before. A game is not over at 3-0.
Absolutely,
and we've seen this probably for the 3rd time
and it's
this
not
season.
over till the final
Exactly.
Whistle, yeah.
I've said this before, at halftime, if you're 3-0 up, the game is not over because there are no crowds, there is no pressure, teams will attack you. That's what Southampton did. They put the pressure. Obviously, Chelsea missing Mendy at the back, though he's even only played 1 game. That was our only clean sheet.
Another mistakes and more
mistakes
for Kepa.
I mean, Kepa just keeps making mistakes. He has the most mistakes leading to goals.
Already,
yes. In terms of, the Premier League.
All the combined keepers don't have as much as only he has.
Exactly. Which is, most expensive keeper. And the only positives for Chelsea is that, Kai Havertz on the score sheet.
Dude, I was just going to say
Werner
that.
On the
I
score
think
sheet.
that, forget, the goals and, the result of the game, but one of the most positives, I think, for Chelsea was the way Havertz played. And I think now we are watching glimpses of the real Havertz
more than anything,
coming to age.
Smartness in positioning. Just,
his touches, where the ball he plays, he's so soft-footed.
He's at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, right place, right time, and he has the passes on him.
And he has Werner running around him. I mean, Werner I think must have been the player covering most distance. I mean, I'm not sure of that fact, but still, the amount that man has run.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kai Havertz is the positive for them. Timo Werner is a positive. Huge. But again, the defense. That Zuma own goal, not required. I don't think it would have happened if Thiago Silva was there. The first goal, Kepa's mistake, it just gave Southampton a way into the game.
Yeah, and then
they put the pressure and Chelsea
positive for Southampton. I think Walcott has fit in really well into the team.
Walcott, yes, he'll
be a threat. Yeah.
He will be, but then again, like I said, I've said for players in the past, for Crystal Palace as well, these are the kind of players who will influence a game for probably 4-5 games or 1 game for probably 10-20 minutes and then they will fade out. Walcott has, of course, reached that point and I think he will. But positive for Southampton, yes, come back from 3-0. But again, for Chelsea, it's 3 points lost and it's absolute shambles at the back. Moving on to the Etihad Stadium. No Partey!
No Partey.
Oh my God, there's such a drop in tone. Aane de kisi ko bhi. What happened?
What happened is that we didn't create too much.
Why?
And that's something which Arteta has got to figure out. I don't think our formation was set up to create too much. I think we gave City too much respect, and that's what
I mean,
cost
you
us.
do need to give City respect. They're a
No,
good,
I
they're
mean,
a good
if
side.
if you see the game, it was a 1-0. I still believe that City were there for the taking. It's not like Arsenal couldn't have beaten them, or it's not like
this season everyone's there for the taking.
exactly.
To be very honest,
So,
but
and that's what disappointed me a little bit as an Arsenal fan, because I think that this was the game that we had to be as impactful ahead as we've been this season so far behind. Now, if you see the stats, Arsenal has conceded the second least goals. They've conceded 6, and Aston Villa has probably conceded 2 goals this entire campaign. So we have tightened up at the back, but that's costing us creating chances up front, and especially against a team like City. So I understand that what Arteta is trying to do, but at the same time, if you want to now go and establish yourselves in the Premier League and look like serious top 4 contenders, then these are the games you have to at least draw.
we're actually considering Arsenal as serious top 4 contenders.
Yes. I told you at the beginning of the season that is our aim this season, and that won't change whatever happens. And I believe that Arsenal can get there, because it is going to be a topsy-turvy season. No team looks absolutely certain to winning the title or getting into the top 4 at the moment. So we have to believe, and yeah, that's what I feel.
One breath.
Fair enough.
But okay, interesting move by Arteta. He played Aubameyang through the centre this time.
He didn't play him.
I mean, he didn't technically play him
there
through
were
the
phases
centre.
in
Yes,
which he moved to
but
the
he
centre.
played Pepe and Willian.
He was playing more of a false 9, I think, with Willian over there.
But
and Oba
why
and Pepe.
change that when Aubameyang is working so well on the left hand side?
See, the thing is that Oba, according to me now, it's not working very well for him on the left hand side. It's working well for the team on the left hand side. Probably that's the reason. For Oba has always scored more goals when he's come in from the centre. But however, I feel that he needs to now figure out a formation in which Arsenal, we spoke about the least goals conceded this season. But at the same time, it's the least chances created this season. Second least or third least
That's
most
also
chances.
because you're missing that creative midfielder in
Yes.
the centre, which I've been
Yes.
crying out since day one.
Yes, that is true.
You don't have that. You don't have that drive through the centre. It's
don't have
all on the wing, so it is very easy to figure out a plan playing an Arsenal if you're playing Willian and Pepe, or an Oba and a Willian, to know that your chances are going to come from the side. Suddenly playing Oba in the centre in such a big game
No,
against
I think it's about also
a team like City.
Exactly. So against the game against Fulham, or the last game which we played, he did move to that 4-2-3-1 in which Willian came into the middle, and he was being able to distribute on the right, left, and there was direct play. Against a team like City, I think Arteta is not fully confident of going in with that system, because he wants to make sure that he's first of all tight at
But
the
I mean,
back.
it's
and
a
he's
depleted
defending
Manchester
from the
City. It's
sides.
not like Manchester City is coming to this
Absolutely.
game with like 5 wins in the bag.
That's what was disappointing.
They've
Because
come
I
in-
felt
they've come in with a loss and a draw, and a
In
heavy
fact-
loss.
In fact, I felt that Leeds United played, put City up to the challenge, and I expected
And
more.
Arsenal didn't.
Yeah, I expected more out of Arsenal in a
Probably
game
one
like
of the
this.
most boring City Arsenal games. Usually Arsenal games are that way, but considering City was playing, it was quite boring. I mean, Ruben Dias being, the best player.
Yeah, no, he was
So,
great at the back. There was no doubt.
He won
And-
all his aerial duels.
Yeah.
He had an 89% accuracy rate in passing, for all you stat lovers out there. But he had a good game. Again, coming to probably the biggest point of the game was Kyle Walker's high boot.
No, I didn't think that was a pen. But however, once again, it's really upsetting that I feel that Arsenal should have put
So you know how I feel now.
way more pressure on City, and we should have at least got a point out of this game.
So you know exactly how I feel now.
You've not played City yet. We'll know on that day.
I'm talking about when a team doesn't press and doesn't create, and
No, we pressed.
You did press.
We
I'm
pressed.
sorry, you did not press.
There was a
You
phase
did
in
not
the
press.
game.
City pressed you, which is why they had the chances they had.
City and Arsenal were both sizing
You
each
were
other
not
up
pressing.
in the first 20-30
No,
minutes.
doing this is not convincing. You did
Arsenal
not
did
press.
Even towards the end, we did press. But we were not able to create. We were not able to create that direct ball which goes through and somebody has a chance. And we had two chances.
Time for Mesut Ozil to come back.
No, I wouldn't think that. I wouldn't rely on Mesut Ozil.
He's the only creative player you have.
Look, man, creative players all depends on the formation. You can play Saka there, you can play Willian there, you can play whoever you want over there, and it's on the formation. It's also on the intention. I don't think that Arteta had the intention to take the game to City. It's clear.
Bad game.
Bad game, I think, yeah. Newcastle 1, Manchester United 4. A flurry of goals in the last 10 minutes for Manchester United. You're so happy, you're in your jersey, you're smiling, you're relaxed. And Harry
Finally.
Maguire had a really good game.
Yeah, what
Let's-
happened? The
let's
fridge.
appreciate that.
The fridge. I
What?
mean, it's sick week for you. Arsenal losing, fridge scoring.
Great game by Harry Maguire. There's no doubt. I think he's stood up to all the.
I would still, be a little skeptical here. I would be the ass and say not a great game. Yes, good goal, but he didn't really do too much apart from that in the game. I mean, yes, there were doubts of him playing. He
and
had a
if he
hamstring
wanted,
niggle.
he could have skipped the
Yeah,
game.
exactly. He
But
had a
he did
hamstring
well.
niggle. Give him that. I'll give him that.
I give him
Yes.
absolute credit for
Absolutely,
that. I give
give him
even
that.
Ole credit for playing him because he could have also easily not played him.
Absolutely,
probably.
yes.
So,
But I
good
still feel,
decisions, I
I
think.
still feel being the captain of United, he has to step up. Yes, he got his goal. It was the equalizer. But otherwise, again, he has to step up. Overall performances need to be better. Luke Shaw is
That was
going down.
surprising.
I mean, it's.
I
don't know,
actually
last
thought
two
Alex
games,
Telles will start.
I thought so too. I hoped so too. Luke Shaw started. He's not had the last.
Shaw
two.
looks like a little bit of a mess.
Yeah,
honestly, at the
he's not having the best season.
Yeah.
I mean, that early own goal.
Yeah.
Then Bruno equalizing. Obviously, the
No, but I
offside
think he was
decision.
caught out of position many times.
Luke Shaw, yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, he was looking like how Van Bissaka was looking in his first game after the return. Out of position, clueless, did not know which side to cover. And yeah, I mean, Alex Telles has to come in. Mata has to play. I've said this before. You argued with me, saying, oh my God, the United fans will
No,
disown
he
you.
linked up
Mata
really
was
well.
our man of the match. I mean, like I said, creativity has to come from there. He set up Bruno's first goal, which of course, was ruled out to offside.
What a great goal it was.
Yeah, it was a great goal, but which again brings me to VAR. That was a pretty straightforward decision. You could see, the line compared to what Mane had at Everton.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
that
yeah,
just
correct.
shows you the inconsistency of VAR.
I think Liverpool got a little
yeah,
unlucky in that.
it cost them points there. Luckily, it did not cost United points here. But yeah, I mean, Mata was, that creative engine in the middle
Outlet, yeah.
through which everything was going. Bruno, mixed bag, missing his first penalty in 20.
Yeah, well,
but
that
then,
happens.
I mean, scoring a great goal after that.
Great.
Again, which was started by Mata. Again, Rashford with the assist. Van Bissaka getting his first goal.
That's not only about the goal, but Van Bissaka, I think, is now not. It was not about the goal for him. I think it's more about the form, and he was brilliant throughout the game. And I think that he's the kind of player that once such things happen, he gets a goal or he has a great game, it's going to continue for a long
and
time.
we've all spoken about Van Bissaka, being a great defender.
Yeah.
But being at right back, you also need to attack.
Attacking defender.
Exactly.
Attacking,
So now
right
I think
back.
that'll, he had glimpses of it last season.
And he was like that actually at Palace.
He
When
was like that at Palace,
yeah.
yes. But I mean, considering we have Harry Maguire and Lindelof at the back,
Yeah, I mean-
you will need someone to,
Fair.
cover up for them.
Yeah.
But hopefully Harry Maguire now will pick up from this game. Van Bissaka, yes. Rashford, very happy that he got his goal. Great ball by Bruno. But that's what I was talking about last time, right? United needed a convincing performance. Though I'm still not really sure if this was a convincing performance. I mean, we got 3 goals after the 86th minute. Otherwise, it was still at 1-1. But it's good for their confidence. It's good that we put some goals in against a side like Newcastle.
Yeah.
And David De Gea coming good with that save.
I mean, you had about 14 shots, which was great. I think that you all played very well, no doubt.
Feels so nice, no, when he's praising United.
No, but it actually was like that. But well done. And okay, just a quick 1 second on Newcastle. What do you think?
I mean, they were good. I won't take that away.
Till 86 minutes.
Yeah. French Toast played really well. I mean, he was. Again, he's a great player. I'll be surprised if he's still at the club, by next season. But yeah, I mean,
You just feel he needs a really good manager now.
he needs a really good manager. He created some good chances. The best one being to Wilson. David De Gea pulled off a blinder, so that also does good for his confidence. So overall, it was a good game for United. And yeah, I mean, onwards and upwards, I guess, from here, hopefully.
Onwards and upwards.
Sheffield versus Fulham finishes 1-1. Mitrovic, the talked about striker, misses a penalty, gives a penalty, misses 2 headers. I mean, that was the game. That sums up the game. Lookman gets his goal, Sharp gets his goal, but I mean, this was all about
A day
Mitrovic.
to forget for Mitrovic.
I mean, a day to forget, for Fulham, considering,
Yeah, I mean,
even for Sheffield, considering that Fulham has conceded so many.
True.
But yeah, 1-1 was, I think, a fair result, and Mitrovic needs to
I think
do
Mitrovic
something
just
about this
sums
because
up this
yeah,
game.
his,
Absolutely.
his fantasy managers must be pissed right now.
Yeah, one of them is me. Crystal Palace versus Brighton at Sellers Park ended in a 1-1. Roy.
Yes.
Zaha, 1 goal, 1 shot, 100 minutes. Brighton, 20 shots, 15 chances created. Roy, what do you think?
Palace all the way. Victory for Palace? No, but we predicted a 1-1. I mean, like
Yeah.
I've said, Zaha is Palace's only hope. So yeah.
But
I
how
mean,
do you justify 1 shot, Roy, in 100 minutes?
it's a boring team. I mean, you were laughing at them. I'm laughing at them now. So yeah, if Zaha doesn't do anything, Palace doesn't do anything. So yeah, I mean, we predicted a 1-1. That's all I'm happy about. And yeah, Mope went out crying.
Tottenham versus West Ham ended as a 3-3. Now, at 16 minutes, they were 3-0 up. They were cruising till the 75th, 76th minute, I think. And
The worst
all
club
the
in
talk,
North London.
The Spurs eventually do Spurs things, right? Now, all the talk from that time was about Jose Mourinho, was about Spurs being title contenders.
His
it was
second
all over
season.
Twitter. It was all over my messages. I'm sure you've got the same that, how Spurs look so good, so strong. They brought on the Gareth. But what happened?
I mean, it's just the third time in the history of the Premier League that a team has not lost a game after being 3-0 down after 80 minutes. I mean, it was amazing what West Ham did.
Yeah.
It was not amazing what Gareth Bale did, which is why I rate Raul Bale higher than Gareth Bale because he was panting on the
You would
field.
have finished that?
Yeah, of course.
Would you
I mean,
have won-
there's such a big goal in front of you.
And was he wearing golf shoes?
I don't care.
How
I would
did he
have finished
slip?
it bare feet. Used to playing on the beach, just tapped it in. I mean, come on.
Why did he go on the
He's an ex-Arsenal keeper.
Why didn't he finesse that? The R1 finesse on the
See,
outside.
Arsenal fans
yeah.
playing
On
PlayStation all the time. No, but I mean, Spurs
why would he go
tanked
near
it and
post?
how?
Yeah, they did.
That was, I mean, Davison Sanchez had one of those Kurt Zuma moments. It was unnecessary putting his head over there. And yeah, I mean, that last goal from Lanzini was just incredible.
It was incredible.
They had 4 shots, they scored 3. That last goal, automatic contender for goal of the season. In the last minute, dying seconds of the game. And yeah, I mean, Mourinho's expression just said it all. And all the talk about title and his second season, and he's a second season specialist. You can't tank 3-0 leads like
Yeah,
this.
but I mean, see, that's not going to really happen too much in the future.
It's already happened thrice in this league, and I say it again, it is going to happen.
So this is also because of you think that it is a
Absolutely.
major thing because of lack of fans.
Lack of fans, not lack of fans, no crowds.
Absence, yeah.
Yeah, it is going to happen. It's only the 5th game week. You've already seen it thrice, and you are going to see it on a regular basis because teams are playing without pressure. So this is going to happen. Teams are, and again, the so-called smaller teams will do it. The bigger teams will do it. Don't be surprised if there are 2 top 6 clubs playing and one goes 3-0 down and the other one comes back in the second half. It is, I mean, the old cliche saying a game of 2 halves is going to come into play this season. So that's exactly what happened to Spurs. Yes, they made mistakes. Other teams will as well. But I mean, credit to West Ham. The way they came back, they just had that belief. They kept pushing.
Yeah, they got that second goal which they
and the
which
last
they got
goal
was
and that
a
celebration
fluke, yeah.
just summed it up for them. So yeah, I mean, Mourinho's second season wonder, not for me at least.
Well, let's see what happens with Mourinho and Tottenham.
AC Milan and Aston Villa are the only 2 teams with a 100% record in Europe's top 5 leagues. Another 1-0 win for Villa. They've conceded 2 goals this season. They're looking good. But do you think this has to do with Leicester's injury list?
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it because I also thought actually that Villa were looking great this season. They've been looking great, especially with Barkley coming in, with Ollie Watkins coming in. But I expected them to score a few more goals, taking advantage of Leicester's defensive, lack of players in their defense, basically. Soyuncu is out long term, and and Maddison also came on. Vardy wasn't playing, so I think that they got a bit lucky over there. It was more about this game was more about Leicester's injuries, and Leicester almost pulled off a point, which I think that they went in to get a point because it's insanely competitive. The Premier League this season, you miss 2 or 3 of your key players, and all these guys are key for Leicester.
I mean, Vardy is obviously key, Golden Boot winner. But I mean, was a surprise, last minute seeing no Vardy on the team sheet. Iheanacho, I don't think is up to the Vardy
No
quality,
way,
not
no
at all.
way.
His movement in the
No
box.
way. I mean, he's lucky he's at Leicester.
just his vibe doesn't give you the feel that he's going to score.
No, it just didn't. I mean, that's why I think Leicester again. I think they realized what they were in front of. Villa winning 7-2 versus Liverpool. So I think Leicester actually did well in containing them till then, and they conceded a last
In the last minute, exactly, against a side like Villa, whose goalkeeper, your beloved Emiliano Martinez.
He's done so well, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 clean sheets and 2 goals. So that's something, that's positive for Villa.
signs for Villa, actually.
Exactly.
I hope that they can, get out of the
they have a
relegation
game in
zone.
hand. If they win that game in hand, they go top of the table.
Absolutely.
Like, how many people would have said that a relegation battling side would top the table after the first 5 or 6
I think
weeks?
they signed also smart
Yeah,
players.
and they're playing good football. I mean, Ross Barkley's goal was, good. They created some chances. Jack Grealish, I feel, needs to take a few more shots. But yeah, like you said, Leicester without their key players, with the amount of injuries they have,
it's a testing time for them because
they look
after
like
the
a bottom half
season
side,
which they've had last year. They would be looking at going top 4, top 6 this season again. But if injuries is something which we really can't help and they can't help it, so
yeah, good luck Leicester. West Brom versus Burnley at the Hawthorns, 47 games for the first 0-0. Now, you've heard a game of 2 halves. This was a game of 2 goalkeepers. That's it. There was nothing else in the game.
Yeah.
There was Johnstone making saves here. There was Pope making some fabulous saves here. And that was the game.
Yeah, and I think that debut for that Grant who was playing up front for West Brom. But apart from that, no such talking points
there's
in the
nothing to
game.
talk
Very
about.
dead game, very boring game.
Just probably, gave us the first draw, which nobody expected. But yeah, that was all. That was the game.
That's out of the way now.
Exactly.
The 0-0 is out of the way.
Wolves with another 1-0 win at Leeds. I mean, Leeds looking a little bit off colour, even though, they had 13 shots, 2 of them on target. But, I mean, they weren't up to the Leeds mark. What do you think?
Well, I think Rui Patricio did extremely well in goal, and Leeds, in fact, were dominating the first 30 minutes. They dominated much of the second half also. So I really think that Leeds got a little bit unlucky, but at the same time, I think they played better than Wolves. Honestly, if you ask me, they played that proper aggressive football. If you see, there's a stat which Leeds has 660 sprints compared to Liverpool, which is the second highest rated in sprints, which is 560. So we are talking about the 5th game of this season, and Wolves has Leeds has 100 sprints more than the next best team. So it's one thing is that it is the best team to watch currently, in the Premier League. And unfortunately, they didn't get a goal. I think they conceded the goal also because there was a mistake by their centre back. And remember, he was the centre back who came in just minutes before the game because Liam Cooper got injured.
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't too much in the goal, He carried the ball, took a strike.
Yeah.
If it wasn't deflected, it would have been a straightforward save.
No, I think Raul Jimenez had to be stopped much earlier. Like, he was allowed to cut in and come in and roam around over there.
But even then, it was quite a tame shot. I mean, if not for the deflection, it would have been a straightforward
That's
save.
why I feel that, Wolves got a bit lucky. Actually, I think Leeds deserved a point.
Did Raul Jimenez get lucky though? Still on the field after that kick out? Because you've seen those given. I mean, with VAR coming in, you've seen those given. I feel he was a little lucky. Again, it's debatable. But
it is debatable.
Good day at the office, I mean, for Wolves.
Yeah, we've
1-0.
We've seen Son get something like that last season. It should have been reviewed. I don't think it's a red card, but definitely should have been reviewed for sure.
Inconsistency of the VAR. That's that for another episode of All Balls. Mixed but interesting week of football. Arsenal's wait for an away win at the Big Six continues. So does his. 2-3-0 deficits turned around. Both the Manchester clubs back to winning ways. Jose Mourinho back to frowning, and Timo Werner finally on the score sheet for Chelsea. Do not forget to like, share, subscribe, leave your comments in the section below, follow us on Instagram, and stay tuned for another episode of All Balls. Stay safe.